What's the fastest way to strengthen my core? We're going to look at a variety of steps, but these steps can be done as progressions of each other. So number one, we're going to talk about building the entire core. Then we're talking about making exercises dynamic, moving light weights fast, use whole body exercises, and then a quick section on goal setting. If you want to build your core endurance, strength and stability, click the link below, go through to my How to Build Core Strength and Stability 12-week online program, which takes you through these steps. Number one, build your entire core. Don't just focus on the abdominal wall. What we've got here is, obviously you can see the abdominal wall here with the rectus abdominis and then the obliques coming up the side, and this will obviously be the same for the other side. What you can then see is the thoracolumbar fascia here, which is this sort of white section. But what you need to understand is this, or these two fascial sort of sheaths, are the same thing, because when we look at it from the bird's eye view, you can see the lower back muscles here, you can see the psoas here, you can see the rectus abdominis here, the obliques here, and then they're all surrounded by this white sort of fascial sheath, which is known as the thoracolumbar fascia at the back and the abdominal fascia at the front. So we're just talking about the same thing. So all of this needs to be balanced front to back, left to right. So we need, for core strength, stability and endurance, we need all these muscles working most efficiently most of the time. Next, we need to start making exercises dynamic. So what we've sort of described in the first part of the video is build the front, back, left and right. So you can do that using static exercises like the plank, like the side plank, like the bird dog and like the bridge. But what we then need to do is start making these exercises dynamic so we can challenge more muscles in the same exercise. So the example I've put in front of you here is essentially, as you can see, I'm in a plank, then I've lifted my arm up, then I've rolled up into a side plank. So what I've been able to do here is challenge the abdominal or front musculature or anterior musculature. Then it's starting to move to the side because I've lifted an arm up. It's starting to engage the hips as well. And then when I roll up to the side, I've then got the obliques working with the QL, with the glute medius, with the glute minimus, all the way through this exercise. Then I need to roll back down and then I need to do it the other side. You can obviously do this with multiple exercises, but this is just one example of challenging multiple muscles, but also making them dynamic and setting them up for the next stages, which is then starting to move light weights fast. Now what this is doing, this is again allowing you to change the angle of the way the muscles work. And this is a process that the online 12-week program takes you through. So we start with the basic fundamentals. So we get those down, we get those solid, we get the muscles working. Then we start making them more dynamic and start challenging more muscles. And then when you get onto the intermediate and advanced workouts, which come after the 12-week program, this is where we then start moving these light weights faster. And what this does is create a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts. So you can see here, I'm swinging this kettlebell like a golf swing from left to right, rotating from the hips, which again is going to be challenging the whole of my core as it's working, because I've got to hold my body in position. Then what I'm doing in this exercise is I'm dropping this kettlebell, going around the back of my body, coming up and up to this shoulder up here, and then I'm going back down and around and up. So again, I'm challenging not only the sort of the front, the sides in this exercise, I'm also starting to move the weight up to here and down to here. So I'm starting to challenge it going diagonally across from top to bottom and bottom to top. With this one, again, similar, taking my lower legs out of the equation, going down onto the knees, which is going to make the core work harder, which is going to make the hips need to extend more. And then again, I'm throwing the weight up over the shoulder and then dragging it back down into this position, making sure again that I'm not overly rotating. I am rotating the body, but not overly rotating. So I'm getting most of the power from the shoulders and the lats, which is making the torso hold firm so I can then throw that weight quickly. And this is all what the 12-week program is building you towards, is being able to perform proper movements with good quality, so they not only enhance performance of your core but also minimize the risk of injury. The next step is to use whole body exercises, and as you can see here, we've got me in a deadlift and me in a front squat. So with regards to these types of exercises, what we've done is we've built the foundation of the core by maintaining the spine, by challenging the muscles and building the core up. What we then started to do was introduce sort of small bits of movement, which is now starting to integrate the hips into it. When we bring in the hips and the shoulders, I should say. When we then bring in these whole body movements, so you can see here, I'm not only challenging my core to work, I'm challenging my legs to work. I'm also challenging my grip strength, and in some respects my arm strength as well, my upper back strength, so on and so forth. So everything is getting challenged in these sort of these whole body exercises. So what we've basically done is we've built the body from the ground up, which is what the 12-week program is all about. Building the body from the ground up, not what most people do, which is from the roof down, which if you ask any house builder, they would never think of doing. They will always build it from the foundation and up, and that's what we're looking to do with the 12-week program. As it starts off for the first 12 weeks, then opens up out into the intermediate and advanced programs to be able to take your core again to the next level, introducing the whole body into it. And finally, just a piece on goal setting, because it's so important. Because when I speak to so many people, they say, you know, I'm doing this with my core strength, I'm doing that with my core strength. And whenever someone works with me, we need a clear outcome. So what we need to do is pick a specific outcome. So that could be as simple as planking for 2 minutes, because it's an objective outcome. We can plank for 30 seconds at the start, and then by the end we can plank for 2 minutes. There is an objective progression in your ability and your core endurance, strength and stability. What we then need is some way for it to be measured so it can be tested. Basically, we just use the timed plank. So again, I'm not trying to change the world with this stuff. It's just making things objective so you know what is happening, when it's happening, and also how it's happening. And then again, exercises. So again, we wouldn't just use the plank to progress the plank. We would use side plank and bird dog. So we're building all the way around the torso, which is only going to enhance how the plank works and your ability to hold it. So if you just did the plank, you may get slightly better at it. But if you do the plank, the side plank and the bird dog, it's going to grow exponentially because the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And if we build the whole, then it's going to make that one plank become that much more effective and stronger. So what have we learned in what's the fastest way to build core strength? Well, number one, we need to build the entire core, which is here. Next, we need to go from static exercises and make exercises dynamic. And we can do that with the plank, like I described, lifting the arm up and rolling up into a side plank, rolling back down, and then going back up the other side. Then we want to start moving light weights fast. More challenging for the torso, more challenging for maintaining proper posture. Then we need to start using whole body exercises. When we do that, we're integrating not only the core and its multiple muscles, but also the shoulders and the hips more extensively into those exercises. And then finally, it's all about goal setting. So we need a clear outcome of what we are training for. We need some way to measure it, and then essentially some way to test it, and then the exercises to be able to get us to the outcome that we want. If you like this tutorial, hit the like button. If you learned something new, hit the thanks button. If you want to watch more of these, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. And if you have a comment or a question, leave it in the comment section below.